Thank you so much, Wendy. And it's always a pleasure to be here. Let me begin by recognizing Her Excellency Chief Dr. Joe Howard Taylor, Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Your Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Lagos State, very distinguished guests, speakers, award recipients for this afternoon or evening, and our general audience, those watching us on social media and on various platforms. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world that you're joining us from. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 edition of the ALM Africa Summit, and what is now the 11th edition of the African Business Leadership Awards. The past 18 months have been very challenging for most people around the world, and especially in Africa, having to grapple with the impact of the ravenous COVID-19 pandemic. However, we are glad the society has made tremendous progress and we are moving forward. Our continent is on the move and we are committed to building back stronger and better. That's why I'm happy that again, some of the continent's strongest game changers are gathered here with us on this virtual ALM Africa Summit to discuss our common patrimony, our continent, Africa. This year's event with the theme Africa 4.0, Redefining Growth, Sustainability and Innovation, presents another unique opportunity to discuss and advance opportunities for growth, for partnerships on the continent. I have always been a passionate believer in the possibilities that can be unlocked through entrepreneurship in Africa. We believe that the private sector, given the right environment, can be a strong engine of growth for the diverse African economies. However, the continent's potential as a growth market for trade and investments remains largely both underestimated and misunderstood. The role of business collaborations and partnerships in driving economic transformation therefore becomes critical and more needs to be done so we can build the ecosystems of the future and help in solving some of the continent's biggest challenges. Therefore, it has become imperative that we bond together to promote partnerships, to promote intra-Africa trade so as to achieve sustainability and growth on the continent through platforms such as this. As things stand today, intra-Africa trade stands at only 17% of the continent's exports compared to 59% in Asia and 69% in Europe. So if we must move our continent forward, we must urgently pause, ponder, and pursue the path that leads to unification through trade and commerce. Suffice it to add that only the combined efforts from both business and policy leaders on the continent can give life to this position. As has been rightly stated before, Africa's youthful, fast-growing population and markets present significant opportunities for the savvy investor, especially in the midst of slowing global growth and the challenges that we all face today. At the same time, greater innovation and investment from the business community is essential to meet Africa's unfulfilled demand for goods and services, to close the gaps in high infrastructure and energy needs, create jobs, and decrease poverty. As you all are aware, that Africa is in a time, we're in the place where we must take the right step. The catchphrase Africa Rising is no longer tenable. The continent has since risen. However, so much still needs to be done. Now is therefore the time to look inwards and commit to changing this narrative by redefining growth, sustainability, and innovation in this period of Africa's economic resurgence. Ladies and gentlemen, there is an urgency of now, especially given the vast benefit that trade presents towards altering the still persisting negative narrative about the continent, we must also put in place structures and systems to harness Africa's demographic dividend. Only recently, the United Nations announced that while the world population is growing, Africa accounts for 16.64% of total world population. And 60% of this number are within the ages of 16 to 25, making Africa the continent with the youngest demographic. It is also important to note that while the continent's numbers are growing, jobs are not growing at the commensurate level. It might also interest you to know that on our part, we continue to create opportunities both for the young and for businesses to create the desired jobs to move our continent forward. We believe that it is time we don't just sit on the eyes, but actively support job creators and policymakers who create the necessary environment for businesses to thrive in Africa. So today's event is also about celebrating deserving Africa's economic champions, men and women and organizations that have continued to contribute towards making our economies survive in spite of the challenges of the moment. These men and women and organizations are indeed game changers, and I dare to call them the African Dream Team. Let me therefore commend these leaders who are making concerted efforts towards repositioning the continent for growth and development. Their untiring efforts have helped place the continent on the front burners of growth. It is why we're gathered also today to honor them. So I'll speak to the winners of our African Business Leadership Awards. That as we honor you today, please note that Africa looks up to you to provide the continued leadership at a time such as this. And this honor and recognition today should serve as a morale booster and also a call to do more. We are also recognizing the contributions of our latest members of the ALM Advisory Board and inductee into the African Leadership Council's Hall of Fame. All of you are leaders that we count on to move our continent to the next phase. On our part, we will not waver in our sworn task of telling the undiluted success stories of developmental strides in Africa. We have carved a niche and gained loyal partners worldwide who are helping us shape this new narrative. It might interest you to know that our publications are distributed to the top 5% of key decision makers globally and also circulated at major events to leaders whose decisions makes a difference. We are therefore desirous of taking the conversations we would have today beyond this platform, individually and collectively. We are hoping to extend this conversation to boardrooms and to your private meeting areas. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude my remarks today, do remember that international trade is good, but intra-Africa trade is even better, as it will birth the necessary partnership required for the future we seek. And of course, our European, American, Asian, Middle Eastern friends and businesses are welcome to join the train before it leaves the station. Therefore, as we approach these partnerships that we seek, we pray that all of you would not just be bystanders, but active participants in the Africa project. I therefore wish all of you a fantastic event this evening, and feel free to network, use the private chat functions. I think Wendy already said so. And I want to conclude my remarks by mentioning the African proverb that said, where you want to go fast, you go alone, but where you want to go far, you go together. I believe that together we can build a better Africa and indeed a better world for all of us. Thank you for your attention and God bless you all. Thank you.